One of the great things about Bluey is the connection between episodes, even if they're released years apart. For instance, did you notice in the episode The Pool, there's a reference to the episode Cinema? When Bluey, Bingo, and Bandit go to the movies, they want to watch the movie Chunky Chimp, a little pink monkey who goes on a journey of discovery to overcome his fears. And over 20 episodes later, when Bingo and Bluey decide to switch rooms, if you look closely, you'll see a drawing of the same little pink monkey on the floor. Bluey even makes a representation of the mountain the little chimp had to overcome during the movie. This is a way for the youngest healer to remember the adventures they all had that day watching the monkey movie. Details like this make Bluey's show so special. That's why we've gathered many more to show you now. Incredibly, there are several details the creators hope fans never notice. But even so, we've noticed that throughout the seasons, some changes happen to various characters in the show. For example, one that caught our attention that practically no one noticed is that the design of Bluey's youngest cousin changed. Socks got her name precisely because on her paws, we can see she has small stripes above the lighter spots, as if they were socks, hence her name. But as the character grew and started walking on two legs, note that the stripes she had on all four paws simply disappeared, indicating that the puppy's design underwent a subtle modification that few people noticed. But actually, this isn't exclusive to Socks, because the same thing happened with other characters too, like Mackenzie's mom. In the episodes of the first season, like in Spy Game, we can see that Bluey's future mother-in-law had a brown spot only on one side of her face. But when we see her again in the other seasons, her design is different. Now she has brown spots on both sides of her face. We all know Bluey has some fixed Easter eggs, like the long dogs, but we also know the Blue Puppy Show is full of Easter eggs and references to other shows and games. And you can notice that one of them appears again in the episode The Pool. In it, the girls decide that each of them will have their own room. And when Bandit and Chili tuck the girls in, when Bingo is saying goodnight to all the family members, note that among the toys and plushies, there's an Among Us. That's right, that same character from the online survival game that became a phenomenon a few years ago. We even want to thank George, our subscriber, for sending us this reference he noticed while watching the episode. You're the man, George! And if you also notice any cool detail or curiosity in Bluey, put it in here in the comments and we can show it in a future video. As we mentioned, one of the coolest things about Bluey is seeing characters reappearing after a long time. In the episode Market, we meet the pony creator and her two little animals, Biscuit and Buttermilk. This episode happens almost halfway through the first season. We only see the same character and her beloved ponies much later in the third season. One of these times is in the episode Pass the Parcel, when she appears at Muffin's birthday, accompanied only by Buttermilk. If you also think animals like Biscuit and Buttermilk are very cute, comment down below, #pony. I don't know about you, but just like Bluey and Indy, I like Buttermilk more. And we can also see these folks another time, but in the episode Curry Quest, right at the end of it. She is once again participating in the fair, and this time she is accompanied by both Biscuit and Buttermilk in the background of the scene. In fact, many people never noticed, but did you notice that both Biscuit and Buttermilk are dressed up every time the little ponies appear? While Buttermilk has a unicorn costume, complete with a little horn and all, we can see that Biscuit is dressed as another mythological creature, the Pegasus. She even has a small pair of wings, as we can notice. Going back to the same scene from the end of Curry Quest, when looking at the pony lady, we can notice some really cool things that few people noticed. Besides the lady who takes care of the ponies, we can see that two characters reappear. We're talking about Mia and Captain, Bluey and Mackenzie's two older friends whom we meet in the second season. Already in that episode, we could see that something was going on between the two 12-year-old buddies, and now in this ending of the third season episode, we can see that it seems like they're getting closer and closer. Honestly, I think the relationship between the two is only a matter of time. Moreover, we can see that Rusty and Jack rush by with camouflage paint on their faces, which indicates that even on weekends, the two friends usually play Army too. This is definitely Jack's favorite game, and if I were to guess, I'd say he'll serve when he's older, just like Rusty's dad. And really, it seems like Jack has a lot of speed since Rusty can't catch up with his friend.
I'm a Jack Russell! Get to the sugar!
Since we talked about Bluey's classmates, another interesting thing we can notice involves the school the kids attend. We can see that the location of the little puppy's school is very wooded and full of spaces for play. Therefore, everything indicates that it's a bit far away, like a rural area. And because of that, if you're attentive, you'll notice that at times a little chicken can be seen wandering around the school in some episodes, indicating they might have a small chicken coop nearby. Now, we're going to give you some great advice. Click down below on the subscribe button and join our team of cartoon and animation movie fans. This way, you won't miss our upcoming videos. Surely the character with the most girlfriends in the entire Bluey series is Cornelius, Winton's dad. Despite not having the looks of a heartthrob, the English Bulldog must have some qualities since, as we know, the stud is already on his 4th relationship, at least, and the explanation for this may be much simpler than we can imagine. In fact, Cornelius has so many girlfriends because he simply looks identical to a big Hollywood actor in Bluey's canine universe. If you look closely, you'll notice that on one of the posters we see at the cinema is a character who plays a detective in some successful police movie. Without a doubt, resembling someone famous worldwide opens some doors and sparks interest where you least expect it. Since Winton's dad isn't dumb, he takes advantage of the situation. Returning to the episode Market, we see that our protagonist received a $5 note from her dad, and, as you already know very well, it's a replica of the Australian $5 note, which is also pink. But the coolest thing about it is that we see an adaptation of the image of the Queen of England, who was alive at the time, on the bill. The canine version of then Queen Elizabeth wasn't drawn by chance. This is because the breed used to represent the sovereign of England was exactly the Welsh Corgi. This was the Queen's favorite dog breed, as she had over 30 puppies of this breed in the palace where she lived since her youth. Now talking about the $10 note, which we also see at a certain point in the episode Market, we see another person featured on it. When Honey's mom pays the vegetable stand girl, we can see that the person on the note is a very famous personality in Australia, the poet and composer Andrew Banjo Patterson, who is also on the same real-world $10 note. Andrew became very famous for creating folk songs. The dog is used to portray the poet to be a dingo, a type of Australian wild dog. Let's now talk about a very curious detail we noticed at the beginning of the same episode. While Bandit is having his breakfast and reading the newspaper, note that under the table there's a stuffed carrot toy. This little toy seems to be a reference to one of the advertising characters of the Aldi supermarket chain, initially created for the company's Christmas ads. This mascot's name is Kevin, the carrot, created in 2016. Since the chain is well known in Australia, which is Bluey's land, it makes a lot of sense for this reference to really be the supermarket chain's mascot. Now, speaking of interconnected Bluey episodes, have you noticed that the episode Christmas Swim and the episode The Doctor are interconnected? In The Doctor, we see the kids pretending they're in a hospital, and Bingo is the doctor in charge of attending to all the people present there, including Lucky, Honey, Snickers, Indy, and even Rusty. That said, going now over 50 episodes later, when almost the entire Healer family is gathered at Stripe's house to open their Christmas presents, we see that the gift Bingo got is none other than a doctor's kit. This is a reference to the episode released many years before. Man, that's so cool! So, watching Bluey goes far beyond its stories and lessons. Every detail of the show is simply amazing, and I love finding each one of them. We're sure you enjoyed it too, just as we know you'll enjoy watching these videos we've exclusively selected for you. They're popping up on your screen now. Choose the one you like the most and stick around with us.